hops on nutrition in Malabo. WHO reappoints Ghebreyesus WHO Director General, and on sports, Raducanu loses. Norrie wins at Roland Garros. And now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has received Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on a state visit to Nigeria. The Prime Minister, who arrived at the forecourt of the presidential villa at 10:30 GMT, was received by his host and immediately inspected a guard of honor mounted by officers and men of the Presidential Guards Brigade. Shortly after that, there were 21 salutes as a mark of honor for the visiting Ethiopian leader. President Buhari and his guest are currently having bilateral talks behind closed doors, but before they have lunch together. Meanwhile, Nigerian presidency has cautioned Nigerians and taken the laws into their hands by undertaking reprisal attacks as a result of the circulation of viral videos on social media platforms. This was contained in a message by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, who said the government will not fold its arms and allow any in any form in any part of the country. Shehu also noted the fact that the opportunity to warn against the indiscriminate circulation of videos carrying inflammatory messages. Away from that story, National Population Commission, that is the NPC, has sought the support of the Nigerian Army, that is the NA, in conducting credible census in Nigeria. The chairman of the commission, Honorable Nasiru Isa Kwara, made the appeal on Tuesday, 24th of May 2022, when he led senior staff of the commission on a courtesy call on the Chief of Army Staff, that is the COAS, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, at the Army Headquarters, Abuja. Kwara, while stating the purpose of his visit, said he was at the Army Headquarters to further the Commission's engagement of major stakeholders in the conduct of seamless census exercise and to create awareness on the forthcoming national census slated for 2023. He noted that the census will unearth the demographic data needed to address the security challenges bedeviling the nation, which is in line with the vision of the Commission.
I came to visit the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, and his team, so that we can solicit support for them as we carry out our assignment. First, I would like to thank the leadership of Nigerian Army, because essentially our job is a field work, and because of the security challenge, they've been assisting us in the field, and we're here to thank them and to also solicit their continued support as we continue to carry out the other census exercises that will lead to the national census in April 2023.
Honorable Kwara further stated that the Commission aspires to meet the data needs of all end users and ensure a robust and quality population for national transformation and global competitiveness. He also applauded the troops of the NA for their efforts in ongoing campaign against security challenges in the country. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, while responding, noted that adequate census data was essential for planning socio-economic development of the country.
We can also leverage on in our other efforts of ensuring security. So let me appreciate all the efforts so far. You have mentioned that out of 774 local government you have concluded, in 772, only 2 are remaining. And even then, in Bedingwari, for example, we have started, only some few that are concluded. In Abadam, you are almost there, but some other things that need to be put in place by the stable authority.
And away from that to exams matters, let's have you know that Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, that is JAMB, said on Tuesday that its assessment has shown that more than 90% of A-levels results presented by candidates to gain admission into universities were fake. Oloyede spoke through his representative and JAMB's director, Legal Services, Abdul Wahab Oyedokun, at the opening session of a 3-day workshop for public relations staff of JAMB. While listing some of the measures to include deployment of sophisticated biometrics technology to curb multiple registration in Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, that is the UTME, Oloyede said the board had taken another major step to put an end to use of fake A-level certificates to secure admission. According to Oloyede, the data bank will ensure all A-level results are registered on the one platform to bring about standardization and integrity of the certificates.
The Honorable Minister of Education has graciously approved the establishment of A-level data bank. So that, because for example in a particular university, 90% of those who presented their A-level results for admission were found to be fake, and they successfully gained admission to that university, and the results did not exist anywhere.
The examination body further said its focus on developments around the interim Joint Admission Matriculation Board, that is the IJMB, and the Joint Universities Preliminary Examination Board, that is the JUBPEB, has resulted in the arrest of over 47 proprietors and lecturers of schools running the programs in the last 1 year. To curb the development, the board sitting through its registrar Ishak Oloyede that said that the Minister of Education, Adamu, has approved the establishment of what he describes as advanced level, that is the A-level certificates data bank in the country. Earlier in his remarks, JAMB Head of Media and Protocol, Fabian Benjamin, who commended Oloyede for his massive support for the workshop, called on the board's public relations staff to leverage the training to do more in the discharge of their duties amid surge in citizen journalism. And away from that story, let's bring you more stories. Families of passengers kidnapped from the bombed Abuja-Kaduna are protesting in the Federal Capital Territory. This is the first time the families would be protesting in Abuja since the ill-fated incident. Terrorists had attacked the train on March 28, leading to the death of no fewer than 8 persons, 26 persons injured, and several persons were abducted. The family said the protest was a result of the threat by the terrorists to start killing those in captivity if their demands are not met. They appealed to the President Muhammadu Buhari, the service chiefs, and international organizations to help the release of their loved ones. When the news returns, news from other parts of Africa, stay with us. Always a delight to have you back. Thank you for staying with us. The bodies of four miners have been found in a zinc mine in Burkina Faso after 39 days of search, a government spokesperson said. 8 miners got trapped hundreds of meters underground by flood waters last month in the Canadian-owned mine in Purkoe. Rescue operations were launched soon after to locate them. The mine has a depth of more than 710 meters, that is 2,329 feet. In a statement on Tuesday night, the government sent its condolences to the families of victims and to the local communities. Search operations are continuing to find the other 4 missing miners. Having you know that today, May 25, the continent celebrates Africa Day, which marks the anniversary of the signing of the OAU, that is the Organization of African Unity, agreement, which evolved into the present-day African Union, that is the AU. On this occasion, the African Union, which celebrates its 20th anniversary this year, is holding an extraordinary summit in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, between Wednesday and Saturday. Chaired by Macky Sall, current chairman of the AU, 2 summits are scheduled for this Friday and Saturday. The health, climate, food and security crisis will be at the center of discussions. It was on this day in 1963, leaders of 30 of the 32 independent African states signed the founding charter of the organization in Addis Ababa. Since then, the commemoration of the historic day by Africans and Africans in the diaspora has served as an opportunity for each country to organize events in order to promote the rapprochement between African peoples. This year's celebration is centered on nutrition, with the African Union theme for the year 2022, strengthening resilience in nutrition and food security on the African continent. Alongside the commemoration of the day is the extraordinary summit of the African Union currently taking place in Malabo. As leaders meet in Malabo, the Office of the African Union Youth Envoy says it wants to encourage African youths on the continent and in the diaspora to support and promote positive social change, intergenerational dialogue, and concrete action for Africa's development. We now move to other parts of the world. Don't go nowhere. Glad to have you back. World Health Organization, that is the WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, has been reappointed to a second 5-year term on Tuesday by the United Nations Health Agency's member countries, with no other candidate challenging him for the post amid the ongoing difficulties of responding to the devastating coronavirus pandemic. Tedros, a former government minister from Ethiopia, had directed WHO throughout its management of the global response to COVID-19 and withstood occasionally withering criticism over its multiple missteps. Tedros is the first African to lead the agency and the only director general not qualified as a medical doctor. Under Tedros, the UN Health Agency failed to call out countries, including China, for blunders that WHO officials grumbled about privately, advised against mask wearing for months, and said initially that the coronavirus wasn't likely to mutate rapidly. Scientists drafted by WHO to investigate the coronavirus origins in China said the critical probe was stalled last year after issuing a report that even Tedros acknowledged had prematurely ruled out the possibility of a laboratory leak. None of the senior WHO managers alerted to the abuse allegations, and who did little to stop the exploitation have been fired. And now let's have you know that the United States has pushed Russia closer to the brink of a historic debt default today by not extending its license to pay bondholders as Washington ramps up pressure on the country following its invasion of Ukraine. The U.S. Treasury Department, via its official website on Tuesday, says it would not extend the license set to expire today, which allowed Russia to make interest and maturity payments on its sovereign debt to U.S. persons. The waiver has allowed Russia to keep up government debt payments, but its expiry now appears to make default inevitable, the country's first major one-on-one international sovereign bonds in more than a century. Almost $2 billion worth of payments on Russian international bonds fall due before year-end. Western sanctions imposed after the Kremlin's February 24 invasion of Ukraine and countermeasures from Moscow have complicated the movement of money across borders. Yet, Russia has made a conscious effort to keep paying bondholders. In another development, Russian forces have intensified their assault on the two key towns in Ukraine's industrial Donbas region on Wednesday, with constant mortar bombardments destroying houses, killing civilians, and threatening the last escape routes, according to Ukrainian. After falling to size and seize Kiev, or Ukraine's second city, Kharkiv, Russia is trying to take the rest of the separatist-claimed Donbas two provinces, Donetsk and Luhansk, and trap Ukrainian forces in a pocket on the main eastern front. In the easternmost part of the Ukrainian-held Donbas pocket, the city of Severodonetsk on the east bank of the Seversky Donets River and its twin Lysychansk on the west bank have become a pivotal battlefield. Their fall would leave the whole of Luhansk region under Russian control, a key Kremlin war aim. President Volodymyr Zelensky's office said the Russians had launched an offensive on Severodonetsk earlier on Wednesday, and the town was under constant fire for martyrs. And let's go on the short break. When we come back, it will be business news on The World Now at 4. Stay with us. An exciting experience it is to have you back on the Hills TV's News World Now at 4. Talking business, at least 51.3 million unique telecommunication devices may not have national identification numbers, according to the Nigeria Communications Commission's document titled Deployment of a Device Management System, Project Information Memorandum. Nigeria had about 132 million unique devices connected to telecommunications networks in 2020. The Nigeria Identity Management Commission, that is the NIMC enrollment dashboard for April 2022, showed 80.7 million people had NINs as of April 23, 2022. This leaves 51.3 million device owners without NINs. According to the GSMA, the global organization representing telecom operations, there were at least 97.5 million unique mobile subscribers in Nigeria as of September 2018. The NIN subscriber identity module policy states that all telecom subscribers must link their SIMs, that is SIMs, to their NINs, NINs. In the revised National Identity Policy for SIM card registration, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, and Issa Pantami, said mandating the use of NIN for SIM card registration will accelerate the growth of national identity database, as the SIM card registration database is one of the largest databases holding the digital identity of Nigerians, including biometrics and other essential information on citizens. While announcing the directive, the government disclosed that 125 million SIMs had submitted their NINs for linkage, and over 78 million NINs had been issued. According to the NCC, there were 199.56 million active telecom subscribers as of March 2022, meaning about 74.56 million active telecom subscribers cannot make outgoing calls. Still on business, government plans to help support people with the rising cost of living could come as soon as Thursday. The Prime Minister, PM, and Chancellor have been under growing pressure to act as prices for fuel, food and energy continue to soar. Downing Street denied the announcement was timed to distract from Sue Gray's report into lockdown gatherings. The senior civil servant's reports into events held in Downing Street is expected to be sent to number 10 on Wednesday. The Prime Minister is to meet Chancellor Rishi Sunak soon to finalize plans, with an announcement possible on Thursday. Johnson has in recent past and days invited a collection of economists with a range of views to also understood Policing Minister Kit Malthouse repeated calls at cabinet to swiftly return to a low-tax society. Last week, inflation reached a 40-year high, and on Tuesday, the energy regulator Ofgem warned the energy price cap, which limits how much providers can raise prices, is expected to raise an increase €2,800 a year in the autumn. Bringing you more stories, a subsidiary of the mining and commodities trading giant has pleaded guilty to 7 counts of bribery in a London court. The firm also said it will pay more than $1 billion to resolve similar claims with the US and Brazil. The UK's Serious Fraud Office said it had exposed profit-driven bribery and corruption across the UK's oil operations in 5 African nations. The firm will find how much it must pay in fines at sentencing in June. It previously set aside $1.5 billion to cover the investigations it faced in the UK, US, and Brazil. The company's agents and with approval by the company between 2011 and 2016, the Serious Fraud Office, that is the SFO, said. The bribes were paid in Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and South Sudan, it added. More to come on The World Now at 4, and that would be sports coming right up. Stay with us.
Sports news on World Now at 4. I am Ainan Lubem. Nigeria's opponents in Saturday's international friendly at the Arlington AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, Mexico have arrived in the United States ahead of the encounter. The match will be both sides' 7th meeting, with 4 of their last clashes ending in draws. The L3, who will be featuring at the 2000 Raul Jimenez, Hector Herrera, Guillermo Ochoa, Jesus Corona and Edson Alvarez making the shortlist. Meanwhile, the Nigerian team are expected to arrive in the US later today. The Eagles may be without several of their key players for the friendlies in the US. Watford's Emmanuel Dennis is a big doubt for the Mexico game, as well as the next friendly against Ecuador, June 2, after being left out of the Hornets' 2-1 loss to Chelsea on the final day of friendlies due to a lingering shoulder injury. Other goalkeepers in the Furthermore, a press conference involving both teams' coaches Jose Pizarro and Gerardo Tata Martino and selected today. Chelsea's new owners have big ambitions in the transfer market as they seek to close the gap on Manchester City and Liverpool at the top of the Premier League. The £4.25 billion takeover of the club, led by Todd Boehly, has been approved by the government and the Premier League. The completion of the sales should come in the next couple of days. The new owners also want to take a more strategic and data-led approach to their recruitment, such as in places at clubs like Liverpool, and have pledged to invest £1.75 billion in Chelsea over the next 10 years. Centre-backs Antonio Rudiger and Andreas Christensen are set to leave Stamford Bridge on free transfers this summer for Real Madrid and Barcelona respectively. The future of captain Cesar Azpilicueta is also in doubt after the Spaniard held talks with Barcelona. The clubs have previously been linked with Sevilla centre-back Jules Koundé. The clubs were unable to do any transfer business once owner Roman Abramovich was sanctioned over his links to Russian President Vladimir Putin shortly after he put the club up on sale in March. Chelsea ended the season in third place, 19 points behind champions Manchester City. Away from football now to cricket, where Cricket Ireland have been handed a spot in an expanded ICC Women's Championships. Ireland women head coach Ed Joyce and captain Laura Delay and Bangladesh will make their debut in the competition, which provides 6 direct qualifying slots for the 2025 Women's Cricket World Cup. Each team will play in 8 3-match series over the span of the championship, which starts in June when Pakistan face Sri Lanka in Karachi. England's home series in the championship are against India, Australia, Pakistan and Sri Lanka, while they will travel for series against New Zealand, South Africa, Ireland and the West Indies. And that's sports news on World Now at 4. Back to Uduak Daniel for the rest of the news.
Many thanks, boss Ainan Luben, for that input on sports. Still talking the news, let's have you know that the Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, has ordered the chairman of the Lagos State Park and Garages Management, Musiliu Akinsanya, aka MC Omlomo, and 8 others to stop collecting levies from commercial drivers. Justice Peter Lifu gave the order in respect to an ex parte application filed by a lawyer, Olukoya Ogungbeje. The lawyer filed the application on behalf of himself and a new Transport Union Society of Nigeria. Other respondents in the suit are the registered trustees of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, registered trustees of Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, registered trustees of the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, Alhaji Lawal Othman, Lagos State Government, Attorney General of Lagos State, Inspector General of Police and the Director of State Security Service. Earlier, Justice Lifu had ordered the respondents in the suit to present their reasons within 7 days why the reliefs sought by the applicants should not be granted. At the resumed hearing, Ogungbeje informed the court that the processes were served on the respondents and added that they failed to respond. On that ground, Justice Lifu granted the reliefs of the applicants. He adjourned the case till June 6 to determine the applicant's motion to add other parties to the suit. And that's the World Now at 4. But before we go, here are the headlines again. On the headlines, we told you Buhari receives Ethiopian Prime Minister. We brought to the fore the fact that African Day harps on nutrition as AU meets in Malabo. We also told you WHO reappoints Ghebreyesus, WHO Director General. We told you Raducanu loses, Norrie wins at Roland Garros. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, Instagram at Hills TV, our YouTube channel